great to be here. Debut. This is my debut presentation publicly for HighGold. When you think high-grade gold in North America, we want you to think HighGold mining. We've assembled some assets that we think stand out in the marketplace, and we built a team and a company that we hope to be viewed as a top-tier explorer. So right off the top, the two assets that the company's been built around is Johnson Tract in Alaska. We do describe it as sort of an advanced stage discovery because it's been off the market entirely for about 25 years. Had a lot of really good quality work done, and we see a tremendous amount of exploration upside on it. Feel very fortunate to have had that project come our way. We also have some assets in Ontario in the Timmins camp, or the Greater Timmins region, and the crown jewel of that portfolio of assets is the Munro Creases project, which was a small-scale producer from quite a ways back, but produced some just spectacular specimen scale or specimen quality gold samples. So this here is the, I guess, our capitalization structure. It's really just kind of looking forward for when we do list, which we expect to be happening imminently here. A little history. HighGold was formed by way of plan of arrangement as a spin-out from Constantine Metal Resources. That produced 15 million shares in the company as of August 1st. And since then, we've just been waiting to get our listing approval. We raised about $200,000 as a management seed round. And we also closed the book on a much larger financing for $7.65 million in early August, and we expect guidance from the exchange very soon on our listing date, so any day now. As a share structure, we've got about 33 million shares outstanding pro forma, and we'll have just under 8 million cash in the bank. And we're able to attract some very strong shareholders to this deal. Includes a senior gold producer, North American gold producer, a fund out of Sprott Global, sort of managed by Neil Hadstead and Rick Rule, and some other big names. So we're really pleased with the broad mix of quality shareholders we've been able to put together. As far as our team, lots of experience and a strong track record of success in the business. Ian Cunningham Dunlop, our VP Exploration, has just been associated with a lot of discoveries and successful takeovers. We are, as a group, focusing on jurisdictions that we know well and have familiarity and expertise on a technical basis. And we also take the marketing side of things very seriously with the company, and very pleased to have Naomi Nemeth on that team. And we've also been able to assemble a great board. Some guys like Michael Gray, he's a very well-respected mining analyst. Mike Cinnamond, Senior VP Finance for B2 Gold. Lance Miller provides us some great. He's an Alaskan. He's VP of lands for Nana Corporation. So brings that expertise in the Alaskan environment. So Johnson Tract itself, this is a project, it's on native corporation land. So in Alaska, they settled their land claims issues with the natives in the 70s when they put the oil pipeline through. And they run really well on businesses. They're great partners. Nana, for example, are the underlying owners of the Red Dog mine. Callista Corporation own the Donlin gold property. Sirius, the group that we're with, Cook Inlet Region Inc. And they basically had this off the market for about 25 years. It was discovered in the 80s by Anaconda, worked by Westman in the early 90s. And they actually did an internal PFS on this. So there's a great body of work here, a historical resource. And we're inheriting that work and going to move forward from there. So just where we are, this is in the Cook Inlet region, lots of infrastructure around Anchorage and other communities not too far away. We are an in-holding in a national park, but with the Native Corporation, they do have easement rights to the coast. And really that proximity to tidewater is fantastic from an access standpoint. This is just a view of the property itself, looking at the camp and the airstrip. and some of the prospects that you can see in the distance and where the deposit sits. So quite amenable terrain. And importantly, what you see here, the southern half of this property is it's fee simple land or private land where you own both surface and subsurface rights. This is just looking the other way, looking towards the coast, so pretty easy road building terrain, and the tidewater is just 10 miles away. Critical for a place like Alaska, which is just enormous. Infrastructure matters, that proximity to tidewater for shipping your materials in and out is absolutely key. It's a really, really neat system, is Johnson Tract. It's a different beast. It sort of straddles the world between an epithermal and a VMS type of deposit. Very high gold grades, and with that comes zinc and copper, a little bit of lead and silver. In submarine volcanic rocks, it's just a unique and interesting deposit. Probably closest analogs are Hod Maden in Turkey, or it's also been described in an SEG paper as a almost like a feeder to a VMS system, like an Eskay Creek feeder type system. But what really catches the eye here are the intersections. So there's many intersections of sort of 50 to 100 meters of better than 10 grams gold, with 5 to 10% zinc and good copper credits. On the far right of this slide, you'll see the gold equivalent times meters. 500 up to almost 2,000 gram meter product. These are like tremendous intersections and amount of endowment of metal in the ground. They stand up well to projects globally. How does that occur? This is just a cross section of the main deposit area. What you see here, the true width is sort of anywhere from 25 to 50 meters true width. The deposit extends about 275 meters vertically. What you see, though, is the grade actually seems to increase and the width seems to increase as you go with depth, and it's the bottom end of the deposit that's actually offset by a fault. And they've identified that same type of mineralization and alteration about 500 to 800 meters to the northeast. And it's one of our obvious go-to target areas to find more of this, basically the other half of the deposit. Stepping back, one of the things that we really like about this project, and I think certainly some of the other guys that have invested in the project, is the opportunity here to see multi-million ounce system. There's about 13-kilometer trend of very intense alteration, where you can track similar looking style of alteration as you see as the main deposit area. It does feel like there's a big system at play here, and all of the past work was outside of some early work in the early 80s has been focused at the deposit itself. So a real opportunity here to find more. So what's our plan? Near term, we're going to be up there drilling before the season is out. Our objective is to basically confirm and quantify what we have there. Everything was done prior to the implementation of 43101 standards. So we'll do that and then get out a resource estimate on this project sometime over the winter. And that'll allow us to comp ourselves against our peers out there. We think, and really quantify what we have. We're also in the same time teeing up these other projects, prospect areas, to ready ourselves for a much more aggressive drill program in 2020. And through the winter, we'll also be working on our gold projects. Johnson is definitely the flagship, but this is a really nice portfolio of gold projects that we have in Ontario. Very, very large land position. It's over 200 square kilometers, split between 3 properties. Each has its own sort of unique attribute. And we're trying to apply sort of new ideas to this fairly mature district. So our intent will be doing some pretty initial fieldwork studies to tee it up for future drilling. And just to focus briefly on the Croesus mine project. So this, as I say, was a historic producer. They mined out a fairly small vein, but it produced some just incredibly high-grade gold. The best comparable or analog that we see is the Beta Hunt mine in Australia. Very similar geologic setting where you've got a particular vein structure crossing a very specific geologic unit that's high in sulfide and carbon. And these are the types of samples you get where you're getting gold in the percents. We know there's other vein structures, and we've been able to basically define the model here and have other targets to test on the property. But in addition to that, there's a more conventional Timmins-style opportunity at play. These vein structures are over 1 kilometer long and track back into the major fault structures that host multi-million ounce deposits. So it's really going to be a building story for us as we go forwards. Look at that, 1 second, not bad. Tell you what, we're just going to, if you want any more information, please visit our booth. If you want to get on our email distribution list, contact the email contact there or visit our website. Thank you.